And before I knew it, I was down. I had no idea. I mean, it was just a blow that I've never experienced in my life. And then I'm just down on the ground. And, I get up and I'm just adrenaline, can't feel anything, don't even know if anything's broken.
Gaining belly fat in perimenopause and menopause, even while eating trim healthy and doing all the right things? Feeling exhausted, inflamed, and so done with the scale? Hey, I'm Chris Honeycutt, Jesus follower, trim healthy coach, and your midlife hype girl. I believe God didn't design you to live stuck, bloated, or burned out. This podcast helps you partner with your hormones, ditch the belly fat, and finally feel strong, calm, and confident in a body you actually enjoy living in.
Have you signed up yet for the Beat the Belly Fat workshop? This is a free 3-day live event happening in January, where I'm teaching you how to turn fat burning on in midlife without dieting, guilt, or confusion. You'll learn how to eat, move, and support your hormones so you can finally lose that stubborn belly fat. So go to getyourtrimon.com/workshop and register now. It's January 19th, 20th, and 21st. It is free, it is live, and it's going to be a game changer for you. See you there.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to Menopause Makeover. Today, I am here on a personal note. Honestly, I do not have any notes. I am not teaching you anything. I'm going to share an experience that I've just been going through and some encouragement to those of you that might have some limitations going on in your midlife season. Maybe you've got an injury, an ailment, an illness. Maybe your schedule is insane, or your caretaker, maybe you're taking care of your grandkids or your elderly parents, and you just either really do not have the time to work out, and or maybe you don't know what to do and you're not doing anything, or maybe it's a season for you to take completely off. And that's who I'm talking to right now. First of all, what I want to say is there's a time and a season for everything. So we really want to take stock. What time and season is it for me? Is it really that I'm off? Well, for me, it is. I just got injured for the second time. I'm off for at least 8 weeks. For some of you, it might be, you know what? I can get 10 minutes twice a week, and I can go do this for me. Maybe for some of you, it's, well, I can't do anything with my lower body, but I can do this with my upper body, or I can go for a walk. So I know we're all in different seasons. My encouragement to you is to not let anything make you stop or be sedentary unless it's a season for that. If it's a season of restore before more, which it is for me right now, which is a no to almost everything, that might be where you are. There's a season. And what can I do? And what can I invest in this season that's also going to help me with my health and feel productive? So let me just back up a little bit. I've been dealing with a gluteal tear, basically a hamstring tear and labrum tear for almost 2 years. And it started with a pickleball injury. But I will say this, if you're in perimenopause or menopause, the likelihood of getting injured goes up dramatically. And the reason is because of the drop in estrogen. Estrogen is very protective for joints, ligaments, muscles, bones, all of that. And so a lot of you I hear where you're like, gosh, this hurts. Every time I do this, my whole body hurts, or I hurt my knee, or I hurt my shoulder, or I have plantar fasciitis, or, all the things like that. And so I want to say that even if you have an injury, you can still do some types of exercises. I help my clients figure out what those are. I suggest sometimes we may need to go to a professional trainer or a professional PT and get the right exercises for us and not stop and not be sedentary. Even when we're injured, I don't want to be laying around all day long, kind of like I have been. I don't have to let a mindset of, well, I can't do this, so I'm just going to get down and depressed. I had a client, kind of same thing. She had a hip issue and hers was worse than mine. And she couldn't even walk. And so we found some things that she could do. She could do some upper body. She could do a vibration plate. We started there. Then we got her into plasma-rich protein shots, which is what I did for my hip. And that's been helping her. She's slowly climbing out. And looking at this, it's really managing our mindset, taking stock of where you are now, what season are you in, and what power do you have? What can you do that is helpful and that also is wise? I'm going to tell you my unwise decisions, my story, and also encourage you that, first of all, you can still do some things. And let's figure out what those things are, and let's not let our discouragement or frustration keep us sedentary. So for me, I had that injury. I did several things, but I really didn't do everything I needed to do. I kept coming back too soon. I did not listen to my body. I pushed my body instead of giving it extra time. That's the big lesson. I needed extra time, and I was just too stubborn to give myself extra time. So I ended up hurting myself even more. My body began to talk to me. Not that it wasn't before, but it turned up the volume. So if you're not listening to your body, it will turn up the volume. So listen to it. And you want to get to the root of what's going on. So I finally got to the root of what's going on. I did an MRI. We had already done an X-ray, and the X-ray was fine, but the MRI did show a few things that were going on. And then my treatment was going to be another plasma-rich protein shot with PT, and this time directed with an ultrasound, which my last one was not, which probably was maybe a reason why I didn't fully recover, and I also jumped in too soon. So I didn't do my research on that. So when I do my PRP, plasma-rich protein shot, basically they take your blood out of your arm, they spin it, they get the plasma, they inject it via ultrasound into the area that's wounded, and then that helps bring healing. And prior to that, I'd really had an 80% increase in healing. It's just that, like I said, I had a little too much and maybe didn't go about that the right way. So fast forward, I had my PRP shot and am not supposed to do anything for about 8 weeks, except what I could have done and maybe still eventually walk, do my whole body vibration plate, and I can do upper body exercises. So the next weekend, I had been invited to go ride horses. And I did have a little thought, like maybe I shouldn't ride horses this weekend since I just had this shot. But I had actually gone a month ago and it didn't bother me. So I'm thinking, well, it didn't bother me, but I'm not thinking like, what if something happens, right? It didn't bother me. I was fine. I was just kind of wanting to do what I wanted to do, which is a little bit of got me in so much trouble my whole life. I'm really learning this. So I ended up going to our horseback riding retreat, and I'm riding a different horse this time that I'm not super familiar with. And it was a much bigger, rounder horse. So that right there, right after I've been riding it for about an hour, I'm thinking, okay, yes, I'm feeling this now. And then we had a few little trots and rides where I had to really hold and squeeze my legs, and I felt it. I was like, oh no. Oh, this is not easy like it was last time. Then fast forward, we had a little issue. So we're kind of trotting around, mainly walking, a little bit of trotting, and my saddle starts to slide over to the right. So I really have to grip tightly. And I'm thinking, oh, this is just not good. This is just really working against probably my shot that I just had, and it's straining me. And, here I am. I made this decision. I'm right in the middle of this horseback ride. But listen to what happens next. So I'm just kind of regrouping, and we go up this hill. At the top of the hill, at that point in time, I really should have stopped, got off, and fixed my saddle. However, the person that was riding with me that was going to help me fix my saddle, she couldn't get off her horse at the time because her horse was a newer beginner horse and was not going to behave well. And there's a lot of us. So there's a lot of there's 10 or 12 of us. So I kind of fix my saddle as much as I can, and we keep going. And then we get to the crest of a hill. We're going down this huge hill, and all of a sudden my saddle literally starts to slide all the way over to the right. So I had to stop the horse on the side of the hill. I had two horses behind me, riders behind me. And you never really want to get off a horse like that, walk a horse. It's very dangerous to do that. But I didn't have a choice because I couldn't ride. So I ended up getting off the horse and walking the horse down the hill along with the other two behind me. Well, what I didn't know was at the bottom of the hill, there was a fence. There was about 8 other riders waiting for us, but there were 2 horses that were in the field that came galloping and running towards us. Right. So I get down to the bottom, and I am actually not on the best side to be in, which I wasn't even thinking all this. This all happened so fast. The horses come up and start neighing, and my horse did not like it at all. And so because I was to the right of the horse next to the fence, the other horse was coming up to the fence. my horse kicked at the other horse, but she kicked me. And before I knew it, I was down. I had no idea. I mean, it was just a blow that I've never experienced in my life. And then I'm just down on the ground. And one of the horses that was on the other side of the fence kind of slipped and fell and went. It was a ravine. It was just a whole big thing. And these other horses are all trying to keep their horses situated. Somebody caught my horse. And, I get up and I'm just adrenaline, can't feel anything, don't even know if anything's broken. Stood there for a little bit and realized, okay, my knee, I had on jeans and long johns, so I couldn't really tell, but I was like, okay, my knee's in its place. So basically she kicked me in both knees, but mainly my right knee. And so the owner and the head rider went and got the side by side and took me up to the cabin, to see what damage was done. And so my knee immediately was swelling and I couldn't move it. So all the things, but nothing looked broken. Thank God. And I really just was still probably in a little bit of shock because no other part of my body was feeling anything except for that knee and the other knee.
Pause, because I don't want you to miss this. If you've been stuck with stubborn belly fat following the Trim Healthy plan or any plan, but you're not seeing the scale budge, or you're feeling like your body has changed and nobody gave you the memo, you are not alone. That's why I'm hosting the Beat the Belly Fat Workshop, a free 3-day live event made just for midlife women like you. We're going to kickstart fat loss without deprivation, shame, or obsessing over every bite. You'll learn how to eat and move for the season of life, what your hormones have to do with belly fat, and the strategies I use inside my coaching program to help women finally get results. It's happening January 19th, 20th, and 21st inside a private pop-up Facebook group with coaching giveaways and real transformation. If you've been wondering what's going on with your body and you're ready to finally feel like you again, this is your next step. So go to getyourtrimon.com/workshop and grab your spot. It's free, but space is limited, and I really want to see you there. Again, you're going to go to getyourtrimon.com/workshop. See you there.
So I recovered there for a couple hours. It's funny, they had a little horse ice thing for a horse leg that they put on my knee. And I thought, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to get up and walk around. I might, I'll be fine. I'll stay for dinner, blah, blah, blah. So things just got worse. Pain set in. And I was just beside myself. I was mad at myself for not being wiser with how I handled that. And then also just making the decision to, make this decision when it wasn't really the best time to do that. And then having the consequences of doing that. So I had to really just think about that, pray about it, let it all go, and realize, what, I didn't know, I was doing the best I can. And now I really am learning the lesson of really checking in with myself before I move into something like that. Now, some of you may be like, well, I don't go horseback riding or whatever, but it's just really about listening to your body. It's about checking in before you do something. I'll just go headlong into something without checking in, going, do I really need to do this? Is this something my body can handle, or my brain can handle, or my bandwidth can handle? Is this wisdom, But it's just going along, doing whatever I want to do because I wanted to go have fun, and I wanted, I didn't want to give up that time. And then, an accident happened. And let me tell you, I have learned with horses. I've learned 3 lessons this past weekend with horses. And even though I kind of knew these lessons, it really hit home to me, just to be super on point all the time. And with me, being on the wrong side of the horse in between a fence, that wasn't wise. If I would have been up on that left side holding the reins, that would not have happened to me. So learn and love the horse. I'll get back on that horse. It'll be great. Wasn't her. As a matter of fact, I wanted to go check on her to let her know that I was okay if she cared. So anyway, my daughter had to drive me home, and then I was in bed all day Sunday, hobbling around. Today is Tuesday. It's a little bit better, and it showed me there's other places in my body that got affected by this. So this has put me back even a little bit further. And, having a tendency to kind of go to that negative and be like, oh, I'm going to lose all the results. I can't do anything I loved. All those thoughts. I really had to say, you know what? I'm going to take those thoughts captive. First of all, I'm going to go into gratitude. If you're struggling with anything physically right now, or a frustration that you can't do something, thankfulness is everything. I mean, going into that gratitude space of thank God that it wasn't worse than this. Thank you, God, that I can recover, that I have the means to recover, that I have the help, that I have the love. I have so much support, had some meals coming to my house. So now I'm even more limited than I was before. And I may have to go back and get another PRP shot because I might have messed this up. But even that, just letting go of the shame and the regret and the blame and all that kind of stuff. It just acceptance, it just is what it is. And I'm learning. And guess what? Here are some things that I can do. So that's a good question to ask yourself. What are the things I can do right now? So for me, I can start back with a little bit of walking here probably next week when the swelling goes down. So I will do a little bit of walking on my walking pad, no more than 10 minutes at a time. When the swelling goes down, I will be able to do my vibration plate, just stand on there without doing a lot of movement. I will be able to lift weights with my upper body. So that'll be great. And I will be able to fuel with protein. So as far as recovery, I'm doing extra protein. That's helpful for recovery, especially essential amino acids. So I'm doing essential amino acids twice a day, and I'm doing the optimized protein powder this is my concoction. It's 2 scoops of chocolate optimized protein powder, 2 scoops of pristine whey, it's a teaspoon, 5 grams of creatine, and 1 teaspoon of essential amino acids in water together. That's another drink that I'm doing. And then, of course, I'm eating my 3 meals. I'm eating protein at 3 meals. And these are some modalities that I have. So there's a peptide called BPC 157 that's very helpful for recovery, ligaments, joints. And we had already purchased some for a while. So I am doubling that. By the way, if you are taking a peptide, please talk to your doctor about this. But if you're taking a peptide, it's best to take that on an empty stomach. I just learned that. I did not know that. I'm also using ice and a red laser light. Red laser lights I get from Amazon. I've got a link if you want it. It's so great for inner healing. It basically goes down inside the cell and heals from the inside out. It helps with inflammation. It's one of those things you have to use regularly. So I do every single morning. Instead of heat, you want to use ice. This is one thing that I'm learning. So with heat feels good for the muscle, but it also increases the work that's going on. It will increase inflammation and it can build up lactic acid, which we don't want. Ice is the better way to go. And then here's what I learned. Within 24 hours of an injury, you really don't even want to use ice because you want your body. Listen, I'm not a doctor. Please, you just talk to your PT, or this is just what I'm doing. You want to let your body use its natural anti-inflammatory. However, I did use ice immediately because of the swelling. It was getting very swollen. And so I'm doing about 20 minutes ice on, 20 minutes off a couple times a day, resting. And then, I'm getting up about every hour. I just got off the crutch today. I was using a crutch yesterday just to move around, but not too much. These are just some of the things that I can do. So if I focus on that, and then I'm looking for, okay, now I have freed up time. What are some things, who can I bless? What are some things that I've really been wanting to do? What are books that I want to read? How can I write some cards to people? What do I want to do right now with this time that I have that I normally wouldn't have because I would be going to do all these physical things. So I just thought I would pop in here and share where I am right now, what I'm doing. I hope to be back within 8 weeks, but I'm honestly really giving myself 8 to 12 weeks, and I'm going to be a good girl. I'm going to do every single thing that the PT tells me to do or not to do. I'm going to give myself the time that I need. I'm going to be diligent with the exercises and with the recovery things that I'm working on. And I'm also going to give myself grace and listen to my body. So hopefully, if you are in a situation like I am, you can take some of these things that might encourage you. That was the main thing, is like when you're in a challenging season, when you're limited, we don't have to give away our power. And instead of getting frustrated and discouraged and disappointed, although there's room for that, I had to journal that out. I had to be sad for a little bit. I actually was mad for a little bit. I might have threw a little fit or two. That's okay. I just don't stay there.
So Chris has changed my life in so many ways. One of the biggest ways is I prep more. I was not someone who likes to cook, and I can't say it's my favorite still, but I can get those 100 grams of protein in, no problem, because I prep. I have the EAAs. I have frozen meals in the freezer. I have shakes set aside to make at any time. So not only has my mind changed, but I have this confidence in what to eat, when to eat, and I also understand why.